I've always been good at disappearing, not in the magic trick kind of way, though sometimes I wish I could vanish in a puff of smoke when people look at me. No, I've mastered the art of fading into the background, of being so quiet and unobtrusive that people forget I'm there. It's a skill I've perfected over 17 years of existence. The music room before first period is my sanctuary. Today, like every day, I slip inside before anyone else arrives, my fingers already itching for the smooth, ivory keys of the grand piano tucked in the corner. Ms. Garcia never locks it. A silent agreement between us that I'll treat it with reverence. And I do. My backpack slides to the floor as I settle onto the bench, my posture automatically correcting itself. Back straight, shoulders relaxed, wrists elevated. The morning light filters through the dusty blinds, creating golden stripes across the black lacquer finish of the piano. I brush my fingertips over the keys without pressing down, feeling their cool smoothness. Then, I close my eyes and begin to play. The melody starts soft, hesitant, like me. But as my confidence builds, so does the complexity of the piece. This is my newest composition, something I've been working on for weeks. It doesn't have a name yet. My songs rarely do. They're like diary entries, personal timestamps of my emotions that were never meant to be shared. The final chord resonates through the empty room, and I let it hang in the air until it fades to nothing. That was beautiful. I jump, nearly falling off the bench. Ms. Garcia stands in the doorway, coffee mug in hand, her dark curly hair piled on top of her head in her trademark messy bun. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. She steps into the room. Was that one of yours? I nod, heat rising to my cheeks as I pack up my sheet music. Just something I've been playing around with. You have a gift, Ava. Her voice is gentle but insistent. She's told me this before, but I've never known how to accept the compliment. You should share it sometime. The memory surfaces before I can suppress it. Me at 8 years old, frozen on stage at my piano recital, the murmurs of the audience growing as seconds stretched into minutes, my teacher finally coming to escort me off as tears streamed down my face. I'd never performed publicly again. Maybe, I mumble, knowing it's a lie. Ms. Garcia sighs but doesn't push. She understands my reluctance, even if she doesn't agree with it. The spring showcase is coming up. Think about it? Before I can respond, the first bell rings. Students will start flooding the halls any minute. I shoulder my backpack and slip out, head down, invisible mode activated. Westlake High functions like any ecosystem. There's a clear hierarchy, and I'm somewhere near the bottom. Not actively preyed upon, just overlooked. The sea of students parts and reforms around me as I make my way to my locker. Ava, wait up! Maya Rodriguez, my best friend since 6th grade, is the polar opposite of me. Where I'm quiet, she's loud. Where I shrink, she expands. Her dark hair is streaked with purple this month, and her laugh can be heard across the cafeteria. How we became friends is still a mystery to me, but I'm grateful every day that we did. She catches up to me, slightly breathless. Did you hear? Chloe Winters is doing another live stream from the courtyard at lunch. Apparently some fashion brand is sponsoring her now. I roll my eyes. Of course they are. Chloe Winters. Even her name sounds like it belongs on a marquee. With her perfect blonde waves, curated wardrobe, and 500,000 followers across her social platforms, she's Westlake's undisputed queen. Her father is some big-shot music producer, which only adds to her untouchable status. I don't get why everyone worships her, Maya says, leaning against the locker next to mine. Her whole personality is just being popular. I shrug, switching out my books. She's pretty and confident. That's all it takes. You're pretty too, you know. If you just... Don't start, I cut her off. We've had this conversation too many times. Maya raises her hands in surrender. Fine, fine. But one day you're going to realize how amazing you are, Ava Mitchell, and then everyone else will see it too. The warning bell rings, saving me from having to respond. We part ways, Maya heading to AP Biology while I make my way to English Lit. The morning passes in a blur of lectures and note-taking. I'm a good student. Not exceptional, but solid A's and B's. Another way to avoid attention, be competent but not outstanding. Lunchtime arrives, and Maya and I grab our usual table in the far corner of the cafeteria. From here, we have a perfect view of the courtyard where, sure enough, Chloe and her entourage have set up shop. She's perched on one of the stone benches, phone mounted on a small tripod, talking animatedly while her friends, more like subjects, laugh on cue. What do you think she's even talking about? Maya asks around a mouthful of cafeteria pizza. Probably which shade of lip gloss will change your life, I reply, and Maya snorts. Just then, the cafeteria doors burst open and a hush falls over the room. It's almost comical how everyone turns to look. Chloe strides in, having apparently finished her live stream, flanked by her two main sidekicks, Olivia Chen and Zoe Bennett. They move in perfect synchronization, like sharks gliding through water. God, they even walk like they're on a runway, Maya mutters. I keep my head down, focusing intently on my sandwich. The last thing I want is to draw Chloe's attention. But fate has other plans. As I reach for my water bottle, it slips from my grasp, rolling across the floor directly into Chloe's path. She stops, looking down at the bottle, then following its trajectory back to me. I'm sorry, I stammer, already out of my seat to retrieve it. We both bend down at the same time, and in my nervousness, I knock over her iced coffee. The caramel-colored liquid splashes across her white designer sneakers. Are you serious right now? Chloe's voice rises an octave, drawing all eyes to our interaction. I'm so sorry, I repeat, mortification turning my face scarlet. I didn't mean to. Do I even know you? She cuts me off, looking at me like I'm a puzzle she can't be bothered to solve. Then recognition dawns. Wait, aren't you that weird girl who's always hiding in the music room? Her friends snicker, and I feel myself shrinking inside my own skin. Hey, it was an accident, Maya interjects suddenly beside me. And they're just shoes. Chloe's perfectly shaped eyebrows arch. Just shoes. These are limited edition, but I wouldn't expect you to understand that. Whatever, Maya rolls her eyes. Come on, Ava. She pulls me away before I can stammer out another apology. My cheeks burn as I feel the weight of stares following us out of the cafeteria. Once we're in the empty hallway, I lean against the wall, trying to steady my breathing. She's such a bitch, Maya fumes. It was my fault, I insist. I knocked over her coffee. Stop making excuses for people who treat you badly. Maya's tone softens. You deserve better than that, Ava. I don't respond. The truth is, I'm so used to being invisible that any attention, even negative, feels overwhelming. I'd rather blend into the walls than stand out, even for a moment. The final bell of the day brings relief. As students stream toward the exits, I head in the opposite direction, back to the music room. It's empty again, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the floor. I'm about to sit at the piano when I notice a flyer on the bulletin board that wasn't there this morning. Spring Showcase, Westlake's premier talent event, special guest judge. James Winters, Grammy-winning producer, college scouts, and local media in attendance signups. Begin tomorrow, my stomach drops. James Winters, Chloe's father. Of course he'd be judging. The showcase is Westlake's biggest event of the year, a genuine opportunity for talented students to get noticed by people who matter in the industry. Some years, scholarships are even awarded on the spot. I'm still staring at the flyer when Ms. Garcia walks in. Thinking about signing up? She sounds hopeful. No, I say too quickly. I was just reading it. Ms. Garcia leans against the piano. Ava, at some point, you have to stop letting one bad experience define you. It's not just that. I fidget with the strap of my backpack. I'm not like those other kids. I don't need to be in the spotlight. Maybe not. But your music deserves to be heard. She taps the flyer gently. Just think about it, and that's all I ask. I nod non-committally, but as I leave the school and walk home in the fading light, I can't stop thinking about the showcase. Not about performing. That still sends cold dread through my veins. But about how it feels to pour my heart into my music only to have no one ever hear it. At home, my mom is already gone for her evening shift at the hospital. She's a nurse, working double shifts more often than not to keep us afloat since Dad left 5 years ago. There's a note on the fridge, lasagna in the oven. Love you, Mom. I heat up dinner and eat alone at our small kitchen table, scrolling through my phone. Chloe has already posted about the showcase on her Instagram. Her caption reads, "Ready to defend my title at this year's showcase. 3-year champion hashtag unbeatable vocals." The comments are filled with praise and heart emojis. I close the app, suddenly losing my appetite. In my bedroom, I pull out my journal, a worn, leather-bound book where I keep all my compositions. The pages are filled with notes, lyrics, and margin doodles. It's the one place where I don't hold back, where I let myself exist fully on the page. I begin a new entry. Sometimes I wonder what would happen if I stopped hiding. If I let people hear what's inside my head, inside my heart. Would they listen? Or would I freeze again? Words caught in my throat, fingers paralyzed over piano keys. Maya thinks I should sign up for the showcase. Ms. Garcia, too, but they don't understand what it's like to feel your entire body betray you in front of an audience. They don't know how it feels to carry that humiliation year after year. And yet, sometimes when I play, when it's just me and the music, I forget to be afraid. For those few minutes, I'm not invisible, Ava. I'm just free. I close the journal and place it on my nightstand. Outside my window, the stars are bright points against the dark sky. Somewhere out there, Chloe Winters is probably planning her showcase performance, confident in her place on stage, in the spotlight. Meanwhile, I'm here in my quiet room, writing songs no one will ever hear, being the girl no one really sees. I've always been good at disappearing. What I've never figured out is how to let myself be found. The spring showcase sign-up sheet goes up outside the auditorium the next morning. I pass it between first and second period, keeping my head down as a small crowd gathers around it. Maya spots me from across the hallway and immediately drags me by the elbow to the sheet. "Look," she says, pointing to the growing list of names. "Half the music department has already signed up." I scan the list quickly. Sure enough, Chloe's name is at the top. Her loopy handwriting taking up more space than necessary. "Vocal performance," she's written in the category box. "So?" I shift my weight from one foot to the other, already uncomfortable with where this conversation is heading. "So," Maya draws out the word, "you should sign up too." I let out a humorless laugh. Right, because what I want most in life is to publicly humiliate myself in front of the entire school. "You've been writing songs since you were 12, Ava. It's time someone besides me heard them." The warning bell rings, giving me an excuse to escape. "I have to get to Chem. I'll see you at lunch." Maya calls after me. "This isn't over, Mitchell." I know it isn't. When Maya gets an idea in her head, she's like a dog with a bone. But for now, I've bought myself a few hours of peace. Chemistry passes in a blur of formulas and lab instructions. I'm partnered with Ethan Park, a quiet junior who writes for the school newspaper. He's smart and nice enough, but we've never talked much beyond discussing chemical equations. "Ava, can you pass the graduated cylinder?" he asks, barely looking up from his notebook where he's recording our results. I hand it to him, our fingers brushing briefly. I notice his nails are bitten down to the quick, a nervous habit I recognize because I have the same one. "Thanks," he mumbles, focusing intently on measuring the liquid. When class ends, I pack up quickly as usual, ready to disappear into the hallway crowd. But Ethan clears his throat. "Hey, I saw you in the music room last week." I freeze, one hand still in my backpack. "What?" His cheeks redden slightly. "I was dropping off some sheet music for Ms. Garcia. You were playing, I don't know what it was, but it sounded really good." "Oh." The word comes out small. I remember that day. I was working on a new bridge for one of my songs, completely lost in the process. I thought the room was empty. "Thanks." "Are you signing up for the showcase?" he asks, shouldering his own backpack. "I don't think so." The answer is automatic. "You should." His voice is quiet but sure. "I mean, if that was your own composition, it's really impressive." Before I can respond, he gives an awkward wave and hurries out of the classroom, leaving me standing there, unsure how to process the fact that someone other than Maya or Ms. Garcia, had actually noticed my music and liked it. The thought follows me through the rest of my morning classes. a small pebble of possibility disturbing the smooth surface of my resignation. At lunch, Maya is relentless. Give me one good reason why you shouldn't sign up, she challenges, stabbing at her salad. I can give you several. I count them off on my fingers. 1. Stage fright. 2. Chloe and her minions would make my life hell. 3. I haven't performed in front of people since I was 8 years old. Those are all fear reasons, not real reasons. Maya leans forward. What's the worst that could happen? I stare at her. Like, are you serious? I could freeze up again. Everyone would laugh. It would be all over social media. I'd have to transfer schools, change my name, possibly leave the country. Dramatic much? She grins, then grows serious. Look, Ava, we're juniors. Next year, we'll be applying to colleges. Don't you want to include something real in your applications? Something that shows who you are? Her words hit a nerve. My college essays so far are generic and forgettable, just like my social presence at Westlake. But the thought of performing still sends a cold shiver down my spine. I don't know, Maya. What if I make you a deal? Her eyes light up with that dangerous spark I know too well. If you sign up for the showcase, I'll finally ask out Jonas Chen. I can't help but laugh. Maya has had a crush on Jonas since freshman year, but always comes up with excuses not to talk to him. That's blackmail, not a deal. It's a dare, she corrects me. We both do the thing that scares us most, together. The thing is, Maya understands me. She knows exactly what buttons to push, and the idea of not facing this alone, of both of us stepping outside our comfort zones, makes it seem almost possible. What would I even perform? I ask, already knowing I'm wavering. Maya beams, sensing victory. One of your songs, obviously. The one about Starlight, maybe? That one makes me cry every time. After lunch, we head to our lockers. The hallway is crowded, and I nearly collide with someone turning the corner. Sorry, I mutter automatically, then look up to see Ethan again. We've got to stop meeting like this, he jokes, then immediately looks embarrassed by his own attempt at humor. Maya's eyebrows shoot up with interest. Well, hello there, she says, looking between us with undisguised curiosity. This is Ethan, I introduce them quickly. We're lab partners. Ethan, this is my friend Maya. Nice to meet you, he says politely. Are you guys heading to the sign-up sheet? I'm covering the showcase for the paper. Maya seizes the opportunity. Actually, yes! Ava's going to perform one of her original songs. I shoot her a horrified look, but Ethan's face lights up. That's awesome. I'll make sure to highlight that in the preview article. We don't get many original compositions in the showcase. I haven't actually decided yet, I try to clarify, but Maya is already pulling me toward the sign-up sheet with Ethan trailing behind us. The sheet now has at least 20 names on it. Maya picks up the pen attached to the clipboard and hands it to me. Her expression is clear, no backing out now. With a trembling hand, I add my name to the list. Next to category, I hesitate, then write original piano composition. There, Maya says triumphantly. Was that so hard? The weight of what I've just done settles over me like a heavy blanket. My name in plain sight, committing me to something I've avoided for nearly a decade. My turn, Maya says, pulling out her phone. To my shock, she actually types out a text to Jonas, inviting him to study with her for the upcoming history test. She hits send before she can second-guess herself. Now we're both officially terrified, she declares proudly. Ethan looks confused but smiles anyway. Well, I've got to get to English, but I'll see you around, Ava. Maybe I could interview you for the showcase preview. Sure, I reply, too overwhelmed by the sign-up to process what I'm agreeing to. As he walks away, Maya pokes me in the ribs. He's cute. Shut up, I mutter, my cheeks warming. He's just being nice because he needs content for the paper. Uh-huh. Her phone chimes with a text and she squeals. Jonas said yes to studying. This dare is already working out. I wish I could share her enthusiasm, but the reality of what I've committed to is sinking in. My name on that list feels like a ticking time bomb. The rest of the school day passes in a blur. I'm distracted in every class, mentally cycling through all the ways this could go wrong. By the time the final bell rings, I've convinced myself I need to remove my name from the list before it's too late. I rush back to the auditorium, but Ms. Garcia is already collecting the clipboard. Ava! She smiles broadly when she sees me. I just saw your name on the sign-up sheet. I'm so proud of you for taking this step. My plan to back out withers under her genuine delight. Thanks, I manage. Which piece are you thinking of performing? I'm not sure yet. The truth is, I haven't thought that far ahead. Well, you have time to decide. The showcase is still 6 weeks away. She tucks the clipboard under her arm. The practice rooms will be available every day after school if you need space to work. I nod, my throat tight. 6 weeks suddenly seems like both an eternity and not nearly enough time. Is there anything else you needed? Ms. Garcia asks, noticing my hesitation. Yes, I want to erase my name from that list. I want to go back to being invisible. No, I say instead. I just wanted to make sure I signed up correctly. You did. Her smile is warm. This is going to be great, Ava. You'll see. As she walks away, I lean against the wall, closing my eyes briefly. What have I done? My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. Mom says it's okay if you come over for dinner. Dad's making his famous pasta. I text back, be there at 6. I need to talk to someone who understands the magnitude of what just happened, and Maya's parents have always been a safe space for me. Before heading to Maya's, I stop by the music room out of habit. It's empty, the afternoon sun casting long shadows across the floor. I sit at the piano, letting my fingers rest lightly on the keys without pressing down. What am I going to play? I whisper to the empty room. I have dozens of compositions in my journal, but the thought of sharing any of them with an audience makes my stomach twist. These songs are pieces of my soul, private thoughts never meant for public consumption. The door creaks open and I jump, startled from my thoughts. Ethan stands in the doorway, looking equally surprised to see me. Sorry, he says quickly. I didn't think anyone would be in here. It's fine, I say, standing up. I was just leaving. No, please. He gestures to the piano. I don't want to interrupt if you were about to play. The sincerity in his voice makes me pause. I was just thinking, actually. About the showcase? He asks, stepping into the room. I nod. I'm having second thoughts. That's normal, I think. He leans against the wall, keeping a respectful distance. But for what it's worth, I really did like what I heard you playing last week. It was... I don't know how to describe it. Honest. The word catches me off guard. Honest. Not technically impressive or beautiful or any of the other adjectives people usually use to describe music. Honest. Thanks, I say, and this time I mean it. Would you mind if I interviewed you now for the paper? He pulls a small notebook from his pocket. Nothing intense, just a few questions about your piece and why you decided to sign up. I hesitate. Talking about my music feels almost as vulnerable as performing it. You don't have to, he adds quickly, sensing my reluctance. No, it's okay. I sit back down on the piano bench and he takes a seat in one of the nearby chairs. So, what made you decide to enter the showcase? He begins. I consider telling him about Maya's dare, but opt for a more thoughtful answer. I've been writing music for years, but I've never really shared it with anyone. I guess it's time to see if it means anything to people besides me. He scribbles in his notebook. And what's the piece about? If you don't mind sharing. This is harder. I trace the edge of a piano key with my fingertip. It's called Invisible Girl. It's about feeling like no one really sees you. Like you're just passing through spaces without leaving any mark. I don't meet his eyes, afraid I've said too much. But when I finally look up, his expression is soft, understanding. I think a lot of people will relate to that, he says quietly. For a moment, we just look at each other, and I feel seen in a way that's both terrifying and exhilarating. The moment breaks when my phone buzzes with another text from Maya. Where are you? I should go, I say, gathering my things. Ethan nods, closing his notebook. Thanks for talking to me. And Ava? For what it's worth, I think you're braver than you give yourself credit for. His words follow me out of the school and all the way to Maya's house, a small, warm flame in the center of my chest. Maya's house is always loud and full of life. Her parents are both teachers, her dad at the local community college and her mom at an elementary school. They have dinner together every night, a concept that feels almost foreign to me with my mom's rotating shifts. Ava! Maya's dad booms when I walk in. Just in time, the garlic bread is coming out of the oven. Thanks for having me, Mr. Rodriguez, I say, breathing in the rich aroma of tomato sauce and herbs. Always a pleasure, he says, ruffling my hair as if I'm still 10 years old. Over dinner, Maya dramatically recounts our day, complete with the showcase sign-up and her text to Jonas. Her parents are appropriately impressed. So you're finally going to share those songs with the world, Mrs. Rodriguez says, passing me a second helping of pasta. About time. It's just the school, I mumble around a mouthful of food. It's a start, she replies with a wink. After dinner, Maya and I retreat to her bedroom. Unlike my minimalist space, hers is a riot of color and personality. Walls covered in concert posters, string lights draped across her ceiling, photos of us through the years taped to her mirror. I flop onto her bed. I think I made a huge mistake. You didn't. She sits cross-legged beside me. You're just freaking out, which is totally normal. What if I freeze again? What if I can't even walk onto the stage? The fears I've been suppressing all day come rushing out. Then I'll walk up there with you, she says simply. But you won't freeze. You're not 8 years old anymore, Ava. I stare at her ceiling, where glow-in-the-dark stars form constellations her dad helped her arrange to match the real night sky. Ethan interviewed me for the school paper, I say, changing the subject. Maya's eyebrows shoot up. Oh, really? And you didn't think to mention this until now because it wasn't a big deal. Just a few questions about the showcase. Uh-huh. She's not convinced. And did this interview involve any prolonged eye contact or accidental hand touching? I throw a pillow at her. It was a school newspaper interview, not a romance novel. Hey, I'm just saying he sought you out twice in one day. That's statistically significant. I roll my eyes, but secretly, I'm replaying the moment in the music room. The way Ethan had called my music honest. The way he'd looked at me like what I had to say actually mattered. What song are you going to perform? Maya asks, mercifully dropping the Ethan subject. I don't know yet. I sit up, suddenly overwhelmed again. None of them feel right. They're all too personal. That's what makes them good, Maya argues. They're real. Real is scary. Real is memorable, she counters. Nobody remembers safe. We spend the next hour going through my song journal, which I always keep in my backpack. Maya has heard most of them before, humming along as I softly sing fragments of lyrics, careful not to disturb her parents downstairs. What about this one? She points to a page near the middle, a song I wrote last year after a particularly bad day of feeling invisible. Stars fall for everyone but me. I read the opening line. I don't know, Maya. It's pretty raw. It's perfect, she insists. It's exactly what you need to perform. Something that matters. By the time I leave her house, I've tentatively decided on the song. It's terrifying to think about sharing something so personal, but maybe that's the point. Maybe being seen, really seen, starts with letting people in. At home, my mom is just arriving from her shift, looking exhausted but smiling when she sees me. Hey, sweetheart, how was your day? I take a deep breath. I signed up for the spring showcase. Her face lights up with surprise and pride. Ava, that's wonderful. One of your own compositions? I nod, suddenly shy even with my own mother. She pulls me into a tight hug, smelling of hospital antiseptic and the faint trace of her morning perfume. I'm so proud of you. I'll make sure I'm off that night no matter what. It's not for 6 weeks, I remind her. I don't care, I'm not missing it. She holds me at arm's length, her eyes suspiciously shiny. Your dad will be sorry he missed this. The mention of my father sends a familiar pang through my chest. He lives 3 states away now, with his new wife and their baby. He sends birthday cards and occasional texts, but he hasn't been to one of my recitals since the divorce. I'll tell him about it, I say, though I'm not sure I will. My mother squeezes my shoulders. This is a big step, Ava. I know it's not easy for you. I might regret it tomorrow, I admit. But you're not regretting it right now, she says with a knowing smile. That's progress. Later, alone in my room, I open my journal to the song Maya selected. It's one of my more vulnerable pieces, written during a period when I felt particularly isolated. The lyrics spill across the page in my messy handwriting, crossed out in places, arrows indicating where I rearranged verses. I sit at my keyboard, a modest electric one, nothing like the grand piano at school, and play through the song quietly, singing under my breath. It's a song about invisibility, yes, but also about longing to be seen for who you really are. As the final notes fade, I realize Maya is right. This is the song I need to perform. Not because it's my best technical work, but because it's honest. There's that word again. I pull out my phone and send a quick text to Maya. You're right. Stars fall, it is. I'm terrified. Her response comes seconds later. Good. The best things usually start with being terrified. I set my phone down and look out my window at the night sky. 6 weeks until the showcase. 6 weeks to prepare myself to be visible, truly visible, for the first time in years. My name is on that list now. There's no turning back. 2 weeks after signing up for the spring showcase, reality hits me like a bucket of ice water. The official participant list has been posted on the school website, and there's my name, sandwiched between a senior rock band and a sophomore ballet dancer. It's actually happening, I whisper to myself, staring at my laptop screen in the quiet of my bedroom. My finger hovers over the keyboard, tempted to email Ms. Garcia with some excuse, any excuse, to withdraw. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya. Don't even think about backing out. I can feel your panic from here. Sometimes I wonder if she's actually psychic. I'm not panicking, I type back, even as my heart hammers against my ribs. Liar. Meet me at Beans in 20 minutes. Emergency support session required. Beans is the coffee shop halfway between our houses, a cozy place with mismatched furniture and the best chai lattes in town. I throw on a hoodie and jeans and head out, leaving a note for my mom who's still asleep after her night shift. The spring air is cool but not cold. Birds chattering in the trees that line our suburban street. Everything looks so normal, as if my world isn't tilting on its axis. 2 girls pass me on bikes, laughing about something. A man walks his golden retriever, coffee in hand. None of them know I've just committed to the most terrifying thing I've ever done. Maya is already at our usual corner table when I arrive. 2 steaming mugs waiting. She pushes one toward me as I slide into the chair across from her. You look like you haven't slept, she observes. I haven't, not really. I wrap my hands around the warm mug. They posted the official list. There are 23 acts. I'm number 14. Right in the middle, perfect spot. She nods approvingly. Not too early when people are still settling in, not too late when they're getting restless. Leave it to Maya to find the silver lining. I've been working on the arrangement, I admit, but every time I think about actually performing it, you feel like throwing up, she supplies helpfully. Something like that. Maya leans forward, her expression unusually serious. Listen to me, Ava. You are going to be amazing. Not just good, amazing. And you know why? Because your music is real. It's not manufactured or copied. It's you. Her faith in me is both touching and terrifying. What if I let her down? What if I let myself down? Rehearsals start today after school, I say, changing the subject slightly. Ms. Garcia emailed all the participants. Perfect. I'll be there to cheer you on. You don't have to try and stop me. She grins, then checks her watch. We should head to school. Don't want to be late for the first official day of your transformation. My what? Your transformation, she repeats, standing and gathering her things. From invisible girl to unstoppable musical force. This is just the beginning, Ava Mitchell. I roll my eyes, but part of me wants to believe her. The small, brave part that signed up for the showcase in the first place. School passes in a blur of classes and low-level anxiety. News about the showcase is everywhere. Posters in the hallways, announcements over the PA system, conversations in the cafeteria. And it's the biggest event of the spring semester, and everyone has an opinion about who will win this year. Chloe's going for a three-peat. I overhear a sophomore say at the table next to us during lunch. But have you seen that dance team that's competing? They're insane. Maya gives me a significant look. They haven't heard you yet. I ignore her, focusing on my sandwich. The last thing I need is to think about competition. Just getting through my performance without freezing will be victory enough for me. When the final bell rings, I head to the auditorium with a knot in my stomach. Maya squeezes my arm before we part ways. Text me everything, she insists. I want a full report on the competition. The auditorium is buzzing with activity when I arrive. Ms. Garcia stands on stage with a clipboard, directing students to different areas. I clutch my notebook to my chest, hovering near the back of the crowd. Several students nod in recognition as they spot me, but most are focused on Ms. Garcia's instructions. We have a special mentor joining us this year, she continues. James Winters has graciously agreed to work with our vocal and instrumental soloists during rehearsals. A murmur ripples through the crowd. James Winters isn't just Chloe's dad. He's a Grammy-winning producer who's worked with some of the biggest names in the industry. The fact that he's volunteering his time for a high school showcase is both impressive and intimidating. As if on cue, a tall man in dark jeans and a casual blazer steps onto the stage. His resemblance to Chloe is obvious, the same blue eyes and confident posture. But there's a warmth to his expression that his daughter rarely displays. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, he says, his voice carrying effortlessly through the auditorium. My goal is to help each of you elevate your performance, whether you're a singer, musician, or both. His gaze sweeps across the assembled students, and for a brief, heart-stopping moment, I think he makes eye contact with me. But then he's moving on, listening as Ms. Garcia introduces some of the technical crew, and after the general announcements, we break into smaller groups. I'm directed to practice room C, along with 4 other soloists. Chloe isn't among them, and I realize with relief that she must be in a different group. The practice room is smaller than the main music room, but still has a decent upright piano. I settle at the bench, carefully arranging my sheet music while the others chat amongst themselves. You're Ava, right? A tall boy with a guitar strapped to his back extends his hand. I'm Daniel. I think we have English together. Yeah, hi. I shake his hand quickly, surprised he knows who I am. I saw your name on the list, original composition, that's cool. What's it like? Before I can formulate an answer that doesn't involve stammering, the door opens and James Winters walks in. The room immediately falls silent. Good afternoon, everyone, he says with an easy smile. I thought we'd start with individual sessions today, just so I can get a feel for what you're working on. Who wants to go first? A girl with a violin eagerly volunteers, and I sink back in my seat, grateful for the reprieve. As she plays a classical piece, James listens intently, occasionally making notes on a small pad. When she finishes, he offers specific technical feedback that makes it clear he knows what he's talking about. One by one, the others perform their pieces. Daniel does an acoustic cover of a popular rock song, his voice surprisingly soulful. A sophomore plays a complex piano piece that has James nodding in appreciation. The 4th student, a quiet senior I've never spoken to, performs an original spoken word poem that leaves the room in stunned silence. Then it's my turn. My hands are trembling as I adjust the piano bench. Ava Mitchell, James consults his list. You're doing an original composition? I nod, not trusting my voice. Excellent. Whenever you're ready. I place my fingers on the keys, take a deep breath, and begin to play. The opening notes of Stars Fall fill the room, soft and melancholy. When I reach the first verse, I start to sing, my voice barely above a whisper. Oh, stars fall for everyone but me. Night after night, I watch and wait. The lyrics flow from memory, words I wrote late at night when loneliness felt like a physical weight. I keep my eyes on the keys, too nervous to look at anyone, letting the music carry me through. The bridge builds in intensity, my fingers pressing harder on the keys, my voice finding strength as the emotions of the song take over. As the final notes fade, I realize the room is completely silent. Slowly, I look up to find all eyes on me, expressions ranging from surprise to admiration. James Winters is watching me with an intensity that makes me want to disappear into the floor. That was unexpected, he finally says. My heart sinks. I'm sorry, No, no, he interrupts, holding up a hand. Unexpected in the best way possible. Your technique needs refinement, but there's something authentic in your performance that can't be taught. Relief floods through me, quickly followed by a wave of something unfamiliar. Pride, maybe? The lyrics are striking, he continues, very honest. Is this your first composition? No, I manage. I've been writing songs for a few years. He nods thoughtfully. I'd like to hear more sometime. For now, let's talk about how to strengthen this piece for the showcase. For the next 10 minutes, James offers suggestions about dynamics, phrasing, and emotional delivery. Unlike the technical feedback he gave the others, most of his advice to me centers around confidence. You're hiding behind the piano, he says gently. The audience needs to see your face, hear the emotion in your voice. This song is too personal to perform at a distance. I nod, absorbing his words, even as anxiety flutters in my chest at the thought of being so exposed. As our session wraps up, the door to the practice room swings open, and Chloe strides in. She freezes momentarily when she sees me at the piano with her father. A flicker of something, surprise, annoyance, crossing her face before she composes herself. Dad, Ms. Garcia needs to speak with you about the sound system. I'll be right there, James replies, gathering his notes. Good work today, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow. As he leaves with Chloe, I catch her glancing back at me, her expression unreadable. The moment the door closes behind them, the other students burst into conversation. That was incredible, Ava, Daniel says, genuine admiration in his voice. Did you really write that yourself? The spoken word poet, whose name I learn is Zoe, adds, the lyrics are so raw, I felt every word. Their praise washes over me, unfamiliar and almost uncomfortable. I've spent so long being invisible that being seen, really seen, feels like standing in a spotlight. Ms. Garcia pokes her head in shortly after. Time to wrap up for today. Same schedule tomorrow. As I gather my things, Daniel falls into step beside me. A bunch of us grab food after rehearsals sometimes. You should join us today. The invitation catches me off guard. Thanks, but I should get home. Sure, maybe another time. He smiles easily, not seeming offended by my refusal. Outside the auditorium, Maya is waiting, practically bouncing with anticipation. Well, how was it? Did people love you? Did Chloe freak out when she heard you? I laugh despite myself. Slow down, it was actually okay. James Winters said my song was authentic. James Winters? The James Winters critiqued your song? Her eyes widen. Ava, that's huge. I guess so. As we walk toward the parking lot, I fill her in on the details of the rehearsal, including Chloe's brief appearance. She's totally going to see you as competition now, Maya declares with obvious satisfaction. I doubt that. She's won the showcase 2 years running. Because no one like you has competed before, she insists. Trust me, you've got her worried. I'm about to argue when my phone chimes with a notification. It's from Instagram, which is weird because I barely use my account, just to follow a few friends and some piano artists. What is it? Maya asks, noticing my confusion. I open the app to find several new follower requests and comments on a video I didn't post. When I click on it, my stomach drops. It's a clip of me performing Stars Fall in the practice room today, clearly filmed without my knowledge. The caption reads, Hidden Talent at Westlake, Hava Mitchell's original song for the Spring Showcase #UnexpectedGems, #OriginalMusic. Did you post this? I ask Maya, my voice tight. She peers at my screen and shakes her head. No way. I wasn't even in the room. The video has already racked up over 100 views and several positive comments. I scroll through them in disbelief. Wait, this is original? She wrote this? Why have we never heard her before? Getting major Billie Eilish vibes? Who would have recorded this? I wonder aloud, a mix of emotions churning inside me. Violation, embarrassment, and something else I can't quite name. Maybe one of the other students? Maya suggests, still scanning the comments. Whoever it was, they did you a favor. People are loving it. That's not the point. I wasn't ready for anyone to hear it yet. The thought of my music being out there, being judged and discussed by people I don't even know, makes me feel queasy. I know, I know, Maya soothes. But honestly, Ava, look at these comments. No one's making fun of you, they're impressed. She's right. There's not a single negative comment so far, just expressions of surprise and appreciation. Still, the unauthorized sharing feels like a boundary violation. As we reach Maya's car, another notification pops up. This one stops me in my tracks. Azara Wells started following you. No way, I breathe. What? Maya leans over to see. Who's Zara Wells? Only the most talented musician to ever graduate from Westlake. I explain, my voice hushed with awe. She's at Juilliard now on a full scholarship. She was like a legend in the music department before she graduated 2 years ago. I quickly check Zara's profile. 23K followers, verified status, and a feed full of performance videos and music industry events. The fact that someone like her would even notice my existence is mind-boggling. Then comes another notification, a direct message. Hey Ava, saw your video making the rounds. Your composition is beautiful, raw talent that's rare to find. Keep writing, keep playing, looking forward to seeing your growth. Zara. I show the message to Maya, who lets out a squeal that probably damages my eardrums. Do you realize what this means? She demands, grabbing my shoulders. You've been noticed by an actual successful musician. This is like the universe telling you you're on the right path. I can't help but smile at her enthusiasm, even as my own emotions remain a confusing tangle. I still want to know who posted that video without asking me. We'll figure it out, Maya promises. But right now, you should reply to Zara. This could be the beginning of an important connection. That night at home, I sit on my bed staring at Zara's message for a full 10 minutes before mustering the courage to reply. Thank you so much. Your message means a lot to me. I've been a fan of your music since your time at Westlake. Not sure if the video captured my best performance, though. Still working on it for the showcase. Her response comes surprisingly quickly. First performances are never our best. That's what rehearsal is for. Your emotional connection to the music is what caught my attention. Technique can be polished, but genuine feeling is the real foundation. If you ever want feedback, feel free to send me recordings. I stare at my phone in disbelief. Zara Wells, the Zara Wells, is offering to help me with my music. If someone had told me yesterday that this would happen, I would have laughed in their face. The next day at school, there's a subtle shift in the atmosphere around me. People who have never spoken to me before make eye contact in the hallway. A girl from my history class compliments my song as we wait for the teacher. Even Ethan seems different, catching up to me between classes with a gleam of excitement in his eyes. Your video's getting around, he says without preamble. I have been fielding questions all morning about when my interview with you will be published. I still don't know who posted it, I admit. It's kind of weird, honestly. I think it was Daniel, Ethan replies, falling into step beside me. He mentioned seeing you at rehearsal yesterday. Said you were incredible. The thought of Daniel, someone I barely know, thinking enough of my music to share it is both flattering and disorienting. I should probably thank him, I guess. Or yell at him for not asking permission, Ethan suggests with a small smile. Though, for what it's worth, I'm glad people are finally hearing your music. Why do you care? The question comes out more bluntly than I intended. Ethan looks surprised, then thoughtful. Because good things deserve attention? Because talent shouldn't hide in empty rooms? I don't know, Ava. I just think the world's better when people share the best parts of themselves. His earnestness catches me off guard. Before I can respond, the warning bell rings and he gives a small wave as he heads to his next class. I watch him go, wondering when exactly Ethan Park started noticing the best parts of me. At lunch, I confront Daniel about the video. He immediately holds up his hands in surrender. Guilty as charged, he admits. I should have asked first. I just thought people needed to hear you, and I figured you might say no if I asked. You're right, I would have, I tell him, torn between annoyance and reluctant gratitude. Are you mad? He asks, looking genuinely concerned. I should be. A week ago, I would have been mortified. But something has shifted, a tiny seed of confidence taking root. Just ask next time, I finally say. But thanks for the nice caption, I guess. He breaks into a relieved smile. Does this mean you'll join us for post-rehearsal pizza today? I glance at Maya, who gives me an encouraging nod. Sure, why not? Afternoon rehearsal brings another surprise. As I enter the practice room, I find James Winters waiting for me, alone. I hope you don't mind, he says, noting my confusion. I asked Miss Garcia if I could work with you one-on-one today. Your piece has enormous potential, and I think with a few adjustments, it could be showcase-worthy. For the next hour, he guides me through various techniques to enhance my performance. Adjusting my posture at the piano, working on breath control for the more emotional sections, suggesting slight modifications to the arrangement to create more dynamic contrast. The key, he explains, is to make the audience feel what you feel. Right now, you're holding back, keeping a wall between yourself and the listeners. Great performances break down that wall. I'm not sure I know how to do that, I admit. Start by connecting with why you wrote the song in the first place. What were you feeling? Who were you thinking about? Channel that emotion every time you play. The exercise is uncomfortable but revealing. As I play through the song again, focusing on the loneliness and longing that inspired it, something shifts. The music feels more alive, more present. That's it, James nods approvingly. That's what will make people remember your performance. As our session concludes, the door opens and Chloe appears, again. This time, her presence seems deliberate rather than coincidental. Dad, we had a fitting for my showcase dress scheduled, remember? Her tone is pointed, her gaze flickering between us. Right, of course. James checks his watch. We're just finishing up here, Ava. Remember what we worked on today? I'm looking forward to hearing how you develop the piece. After they leave, I remain at the piano, processing the advice James gave me. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm receiving guidance from the father of the girl who probably doesn't even remember my name. When I join Daniel and the others for pizza later, the conversation inevitably turns to the showcase. Word is Chloe's planning something big this year, Zoe mentions, grabbing another slice. Apparently, her dad hired a professional choreographer for her number. Of course he did, Daniel rolls his eyes, because heaven forbid she compete on talent alone. Her voice is actually pretty good, I find myself saying, surprised by my own defense of Chloe. The others look at me curiously. It is, I insist. I've heard her in choir. She can sing. Sure, but it's all so manufactured, Zoe argues. There's no heart in it, not like your song. The comparison makes me uncomfortable. We're just different types of performers. Exactly, Daniel agrees. And that's why you're a threat to her. You're the real deal, Ava. No fancy production, no choreography, just raw talent and emotion. His words echo in my mind later that night as I practice in my bedroom, the keyboard volume turned low so as not to disturb my mom's rare evening at home. Am I really a threat to someone like Chloe? The idea seems ludicrous, but as the week progresses, subtle signs suggest otherwise. During a full cast rehearsal, I notice Chloe watching me from the wings as I perform, her expression calculatingly neutral. In the hallway, her friends fall silent when I pass by. And when Ethan's article about the showcase participants is published in the school paper, featuring a surprisingly prominent section about me and my original composition, I swear I see Chloe tearing a copy in half. Maya, of course, is delighted by these developments. She's running scared, she declares triumphantly during our study session at Beans. I doubt that, I reply, highlighting a passage in my history textbook. Chloe Winters doesn't get scared, especially not of someone like me. Everyone gets scared of something, Maya says wisely. For people like Chloe, it's being outshone. I change the subject, uncomfortable with the idea of being caught in a competition I never signed up for. The showcase is terrifying enough without adding a rivalry to the mix. But the following Monday, something happens that makes it impossible to ignore the shifting dynamics. As I approach my locker before first period, I notice a small crowd gathered around it, whispering and pointing. Drawing closer, I see why. Someone has taped printed screenshots of the comments on my video to the metal door. But these aren't the positive ones. They're the few negative remarks that had been buried among the praise, now highlighted and enlarged. Amateur hour much? Stick to your bedroom performances. Sounds like a ripoff of about 10 different artists. Is she seriously competing against Chloe? LOL, good luck with that. My cheeks burn as I quickly tear down the papers, crumpling them in my fist. Around me, the crowd disperses, some with sympathetic glances, others clearly enjoying the drama. What's going on? Maya appears at my side, taking in my expression and the papers in my hand. Wordlessly, I hand her the crumpled printouts. Her face darkens as she reads them. This is so childish, she seethes. We both know who did this. We don't know for sure, I caution, though in my heart I agree. And please, who else would feel threatened enough to pull something like this? Before I can respond, I notice Chloe and her friends at the end of the hallway, watching our reaction. When she sees me looking, she doesn't even have the decency to glance away. Instead, she smiles, small and satisfied, before turning on her heel and walking off. That's it, Maya declares, already starting after her. I'm going to... Don't. I grab her arm. That's exactly what she wants. To make a scene, to throw me off balance. Maya looks at me, surprised by my composure. Truth be told, I'm a little surprised myself. A week ago, this kind of public humiliation would have sent me running for cover. But something has changed. The music room isn't my only sanctuary anymore. My song, my voice, is becoming a kind of armor. So what do we do? Maya asks. I open my locker, calmly swapping my books for first period. Nothing, we do nothing. That's your plan? Let her get away with it? No. I close my locker and face my friend. My plan is to get better. Every day, every rehearsal better. Because the best response isn't getting into a hallway fight. It's showing up on that stage and playing so well that no one remembers those comments ever existed. Maya stares at me for a long moment, then breaks into a slow smile. Who are you? And what have you done with my best friend? I laugh, linking my arm through hers as we head to class. I'm still me, just maybe a slightly braver version. That afternoon, I return to the music room with renewed determination. Ms. Garcia is there, arranging sheet music. Ava? She smiles warmly. I was hoping you'd stop by. I wanted to talk to you about your progress. Is something wrong? My newfound confidence wavers slightly. Quite the opposite. She sits at the piano bench, gesturing for me to join her. Your performance is evolving beautifully. James mentioned he's been working with you individually. I nod, uncertain where this is going. He rarely does that, she continues. In fact, I can't remember the last time he took such an interest in a student's work. The implication hangs in the air between us. I'm sure he's just being nice, I mumble. Ms. Garcia sighs, turning to face me directly. Ava, when are you going to accept that your talent is exceptional? Not just good, exceptional. Her words echo Maya's from weeks ago, but coming from Ms. Garcia, a professional musician herself, they carry a different weight. I'm trying, I admit. It's just hard to believe sometimes. I understand. Her expression softens. But part of growing as an artist is learning to trust your voice. The showcase isn't just about performing for others. It's about claiming your space in the world. After our conversation, I practice with renewed focus, working through the suggestions James gave me last week. Time slips away as I lose myself in the music, playing the piece over and over, each run-through feeling more natural than the last. I don't notice Ethan in the doorway until I finish a particularly emotional rendition of the bridge. When I look up, he's leaning against the frame, a strange expression on his face. Sorry, he says quickly. I didn't want to interrupt. How long have you been standing there? I ask, embarrassed at the thought of being observed during such an unguarded moment. Not long, he assures me, stepping into the room. I was hoping to find you, actually. I'm working on a follow-up piece for the paper, about the showcase preparations. Would you be willing to do another interview? The old me would have declined immediately, but the new me, the one who's slowly learning to step into the spotlight, considers it. What kind of questions? I ask cautiously. Just about your process, how rehearsals are going. Maybe a bit about why music matters to you. He pulls out his notebook. Nothing too personal, I promise. I gesture for him to sit, surprised by my own willingness to talk about my music. Okay, but I have final approval before anything gets published. He grins. Deal. Our interview stretches longer than either of us anticipated. Ethan asks thoughtful questions that probe beyond the surface. About my songwriting process, my influences, my hopes for the showcase. To my surprise, I find myself answering honestly, describing the late nights spent composing, the way music has always been my refuge. Last question, he says finally. What do you hope people take away from your performance? I consider this carefully. I guess I want them to know they're not alone. We all feel invisible sometimes, but being seen, really seen, starts with allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Ethan looks up from his notebook, his expression serious. That's beautiful, Ava. Something passes between us in that moment, a current of understanding that makes my heart beat a little faster. The moment breaks when my phone chimes with a text from Maya. Check Instagram now. I pull out my phone, Ethan peering curiously over my shoulder. What I see makes my breath catch. Maya has posted a new video of me, this one from today's practice session, clearly filmed through the music room window without my knowledge. Unlike Daniel's shaky, partial recording, this one captures nearly the entire song, including the emotional bridge I've been working on. But it's not the video itself that's shocking, it's the response. In just 20 minutes, it's garnered over 300 views and dozens of comments, all overwhelmingly positive. Even more surprisingly, several music accounts have already shared it, including a local music blog with thousands of followers. And there, among the barrage of notifications, is another message from Zara. This arrangement is fire. The growth from the first video is incredible. Keep going, you're onto something special here. Ethan reads the message over my shoulder, his eyes widening. Zara Wells, the Zara Wells, she's following your progress? I nod, still processing the sudden attention. It's all happening so fast. Because you're that good, he says simply, as if it's the most obvious thing in the world. That night, I can't sleep. My mind races with everything that's happened in the past 2 weeks. From reluctantly signing up for the showcase to becoming what Maya dramatically calls Westlake's viral sensation. The attention is both exhilarating and terrifying. I slip out of bed and sit at my keyboard, headphones plugged in so I don't wake my mom. The familiar feel of the keys grounds me, reminding me why I'm doing this in the first place. It's not about the views or comments or even the showcase itself. It's about the music, my music, finally finding its way out into the world. As I play through Stars Fall one more time, I realize something has fundamentally changed. The notes are the same, the lyrics unchanged, but my relationship to the song has evolved. What began as a private expression of loneliness now feels like an offering. A hand extended to anyone who's ever felt unseen. For the first time, I'm not just playing for myself. I'm playing for everyone who might hear my voice and recognize their own feelings in the melody, and that, somehow, makes all the difference.